Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today I want to talk to you about my 5 favorite Leatherman multi-tools and why they are my 5 favorites. So the ones I have here on the table are actually not in my top 5 list, but I brought them out here because I know that they're going to be in a lot of people's favorites list. So the first one is the Juice S2. Now, unfortunately, the Juice line is completely discontinued. What made the Juice S2 one of the more popular versions of the Juice series of tools is the fact that it was slimmer in profile, so it had less tools, but it was because of that, it was incredibly pocketable. It had a nice set of pliers on it. One thing I like about the Juice series is how snappy they are when they open up. They really lock in really well, and it has one of the better drivers that you could get on their Leatherman multi-tools. One of the best Phillips drivers they ever produced, and you can hear how just crisp that snaps into place is one of the things that I really liked about the Juice series, though I didn't carry them much because I always leaned towards a larger multi-tool for blue collar work for industrial applications. So while the Juice series is a fantastic tool, it didn't make my list, though I can appreciate how well engineered it was done. So on the outside, it came with a knife blade, and again, this one has scissors, which makes this one of the more popular of the Juice series of multi-tools. Also includes a can opener, bottle cap lifter. The can opener works pretty decent on there. Bottle cap lifter, not so great. But overall, good set of screwdrivers, great little set of slim needle nose, and a knife blade as well as the scissors. It makes for a very pocketable and very great multi-tool. In fact, I wish Leatherman would turn some attention back to this size of multi-tool because I think they're missing out on a huge market by not having something in their line that fits that genre. Another great tool from Leatherman is the Skeletal CX. Now, this is based on the original Skeletal series. The difference is, obviously, apart from aesthetics, with the carbon fiber integrated into this one, is that this one includes a better knife blade steel. So this one comes with their 154 cm. Now, they don't do this often. The Skeletal CX and the Leatherman Charge series, which are the better versions of the Leatherman Wave, are really the only two multi-tools where they come out with better knife blade steels for a current model. I really wish that they would do that to a couple of other models because I think it would serve them well to have some premium versions of some of their other multi-tools. Now, this one also includes integrated into the frame, has serves as a carabiner or bottle cap lifter. I like bottle cap lifters that don't take up space in the tools, but rather are integrated in the frame like that, and the Skeletal CX is one of the better ones. Another thing that it has on here is one of the best drivers that you can have, or one of the best driver retention mechanisms for their proprietary bit. So a little thumb press will release that, set that back in, and it locks in incredibly firmly. So this is great for the bit exchanger. Also comes on board with an extra bit, which is one of the only multi-tools. The Mutt does too, and maybe the Signal. Yeah, the Signal has an extra bit on board, but they don't do this a lot in a lot of their multi-tools. But it's great that it's on the Skeletal CX to have that extra driver capability. And it's just overall, it's a very pleasing looking multi-tool with a great knife blade, has integrated pocket clip, and so it's not hard to understand why this is a favorite among for people EDCing this particular multi-tool, because it's not trying to do too much, but what it does really, really well. And I think maybe that's the hallmark, or that's the goal that Leatherman should set for their multi-tools that are not necessarily trying to be the toolbox approach like you'll get with a Wave or a Surge, is to do a few things and do them extremely well, and I think that would bode well for them in the future. The next one is going to be the most popular multi-tool on the planet, and that's the Leatherman Wave Plus. This is the 3rd generation. Comes with great set of needle nose pliers, integrated needle nose pliers, and then replaceable wire and hard wire cutters that come with this, as well as on the back of the pliers in the 3rd generation they added the ability to do wire crimping capabilities. On the interior tools, you have your bit exchanger that comes with just a single bit, so you have your combination number 1, number 2 Phillips, and your 3/16 flat driver. Then you have by the way, these also, anytime it has an exchanger, will accept their different extensions as well. Then it has the combination tool with their great can opener. This is a fantastic can opener. Doesn't really work that great as a bottle cap lifter, but it does work. And then the wire stripper that comes down below it that I get a lot of use out of. On the other side, it has a selection of a couple different drivers. So you have your larger 1/4 inch driver, and then you have your micro driver. And then the Wave also comes with a set of scissors. Now the scissors on here, they're pretty decent. They do a decent job. I just find that because they're in the interior of the tool, they're a little hard to get out. I think, the one tool that the Wave really lacks, by most people's opinion, is going to be the awl, and they might have been served better by leaving out the scissors in this one and using the awl instead. And then on the outside of the tool is the 4 outside accessible tools. So you have your standard knife blade in 420HC, which is a great length blade for this tool. Liner locked, really locks in there nice and firmly. On the other side, you have your serrated blade, which some people like a lot, myself included, and then others would like to see them change this out for something different. And then you have your diamond file, combination edge file, crosscut, and diamond file. Diamond file is something that I love on the Leatherman multi-tools. And then on the opposing side, you have your integrated saw blade, which all the outer tools, again, liner lock in place. Not hard to understand why the Leatherman Wave Plus is one of the more popular multi-tools, or the most popular multi-tool on the planet. Now, the next one is one that I carried for a long time. This used to be in my favorites. It's since dropped out of my top 5, not because it's a bad tool in any way, shape, or form. In fact, this is one of the better engineered multi-tools that Leatherman ever produced. It was a completely new concept. They just engineered this one from scratch, and boy, they did a bang-up job. This is one of the best engineered tools Leatherman ever put out. Comes included with a great pair of shears, which is its hallmark, and then you have a belt, strap cutter, integrated oxygen wrench. It has a glass brake on it, as well as a ring cutter. Also has the ability to carry this with the integrated pocket clip, or the case that comes with it will allow you to carry it in its open position or in its folded position. Great tool for first responders, and for me, I used it on the job site a lot to cut through a lot of different stuff. So there's one tool that I don't have out here right at the moment that also should be included in this, and that is the Leatherman Micra, which is, I'll tell you what, let me grab it real quick. So the Micra is one of those really super compact tools from Leatherman. I like this tool because of the fact that it has, and this is probably the second best pair of scissors that Leatherman puts on a multi-tool. The scissors on the Micra are fantastic. Comes with a variety of different personal care tools. So you have the nail file as well as a nail cleaner. It has a couple of different drivers, a little chisel ground knife blade. On the opposite side, you have, this is your bottle cap lifter, and this is your screwdriver. And then it has the flattened Phillips as well as a pair of tweezers. Now, you don't get tweezers on a lot of different Leatherman multi-tools, but you do get it on the Micra. And so this one is one that I carried a lot. I don't carry it much anymore. Not because I don't think it's a great tool, it's just that I don't really have the need to carry the Micra anymore. Once in a while I will, but it's not an everyday thing. But the Leatherman Micra definitely deserves to be on the honorable mentions list as well. Now let's get into my personal favorite 5 Leatherman multi-tools. So the number 5 on my list is going to be a model that's also discontinued. I happen to have, this is one I've had for years and years and years and gotten a lot of use out of, and I still carry this one to this day. Not every day, but once in a while. So the Squirt ES4. The Squirt ES4 is the only multi-tool that Leatherman came out with that instead of having scissors or pliers included a pair of wire strippers. I love that because it's great for doing little repair work. Now, much like the Micra, it's going to have some additional smaller tools that are not necessarily the most useful, though a couple of them do come in handy. But the wire strippers are really what sell this one, and it's so light and so compact that it's incredibly easy to carry as a supplemental piece on your EDC. So it does have a nice little crosscut file and single cut file. The file on here works really well. This also serves as your larger flat drive on the front. Then it has a little chisel ground blade that come with it as well. And then on the opposite side, you have a pair of scissors on here, which are kind of I think the wave scissors are going to be a little bit larger, but these will get little cutting tasks done. These would be great for cutting little stuff like fishing line. I don't remember how well these work on paracord. I think they struggle a little bit, so they're not awesome scissors, but they're useful scissors. We'll put it that way. Then on the opposite side, you have your driver. So the first is and the can opener. I forgot, bottle cap lifter. I'm sorry, comes with it. So you have your another large flat driver, and then you have this serves as both a flat driver on the very front, but the shape of it is also designed to serve as one half of a Phillips driver. And I'll tell you where this driver comes in really useful is when you're taking off screws on battery compartments for electronic tools and stuff like that. That little driver actually works really, really great for that. So this is number 5 on my list, the Leatherman Squirt ES4. I hope at some point Leatherman comes out with another version of an electronics tool. Number 4 for me is one of the newer Leatherman tools. This is the Leatherman Raptor Response. Now, this was based off the Leatherman Raptor, the original, but the Raptor Response kind of took the place of the Raptor for me. Now, I'll explain why. So the Raptor is more designed for first responders. That's why it has some of these extra tools like the ring cutter, the strap cutter, the O2 wrench, and the glass break. Great tool to use. Don't get me wrong. I like this tool a lot, but because of the way I had to handle this tool, usually to work it, I had to have 3 fingers in the second loop down here. It does have your 4-finger rest here, but if you're using it for long periods of time, it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Well, they solved that somewhat with the Leatherman Raptor Response. You notice where the thumb rest is, it's kind of smoothed over here, so it's just more comfortable overall to use. Now on the back has your 4-finger rest, 2 fingers in the main or in the second loop here, and then it has a pinky rest as well. And so I find this so much more useful, so much easier to control, so much more comfortable to use than the original Raptor. Now it comes with some of the tools that the original Raptor comes, including the O2 wrench that's integrated into the handle, and the ring cutter, and obviously the great shears, which haven't changed from one model to the other. Still a fantastic set of shears, and it still folds down. Now it doesn't have the glass break, and it doesn't have the strap cutter. It also doesn't include the case that comes with the great case that comes with the Leatherman Raptor, but rather has just the pocket clip to use as a pocket carry. But this is not a tool that I carry on me, and one that I keep in the console of my truck, so times when I need it to cut through a variety of different materials, then I can very easily grab them and have a great set of shears out on the job site. So this is the Leatherman Raptor Response, number 4. Number 3 on my list has been on my list for a very long time. This is the Leatherman Crunch. Now, Leatherman is one of the only manufacturers, except for a Chinese knockoff, that still makes a vice grip style multi-tool. This is what makes the Leatherman Crunch so great, is the fact that it is a fantastic set of vice grips. Now, or locking pliers, I guess you should say. Vice grips is actually a name brand, but though it's used, to describe locking pliers. I wish that they would make a bigger version of this. This is a 4-inch frame. I wish they'd have a 4.5-inch frame, much like they do with the Wave Surge. I would probably use that one as well. Now, I don't carry this that often, maybe 3 or 4 times a month. At work is the only time I'll carry it. I do keep it in my truck so that if I ever need quick access to it, I have it. But it's so convenient, and for me, it's valuable to have this style instead of just a regular pair of vice grips, because it folds down so compactly. So it's one of the reasons I like this very much. Now it has different sets of interior tools. You have the file. This one's a little tough to get out. Your driver, small driver, your Phillips driver. The Phillips driver is not quite as good as what you're going to find on the Super Tool 300 or the rebar, but it does broaden out, which gives you a full dimensional Phillips that works as a number 1 and number 2 Phillips. Then you have your second flat driver. Actually, there's 3 flat drivers. So the small, the medium, and then the file also serves as your larger driver. And then this one comes included with a serrated blade as well, which I've found very handy over the years. So this is number 3, the Leatherman Crunch. Oh, one last item on this one. You pull out the adjustment screw and you can fit regular 1/4-inch bits on the end of it, though it's a little long-winded to get that screw out. So number 3 on my list, the Leatherman Crunch. Now, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you would have probably assumed that the Leatherman Surge was going to be my number 1 pick for my favorite multi-tools, but in fact, it's number 2. So I actually carry a modified version of the Leatherman Surge. The Leatherman Surge is really the big brother to the Leatherman Wave. It just has bigger tools altogether, so you get your 4 outside accessible tools that are a little different than what you get with the Wave. So this one's going to have integrated scissors on the outside, and the way they accomplish that is by using a T-shank adapter for both your saw blade and for your file, which this one also comes with the diamond file as well. So you can exchange that for either one of those tools, or you can use aftermarket accessories on this as well, which makes it very, very convenient to be able to handle a lot of different tasks, especially when you're talking about specialty saw blades. The Surge overall is just bigger. It's 4.5 inches. It's a more robust tool. It's one of the strongest, if not the strongest, in Leatherman's entire lineup. The frame is just fantastic on the Wave and Surge series of tools. This one's going to come with your bit exchanger with your combination tool like you get on the Wave. On the opposite side, because this one doesn't have interior scissors, you're going to get an awl with it, as well as your large driver, which is even larger than the one on the Wave, and then your medium flat driver, as well as those interior tools or the exterior tools. This one also comes with, behind it also, not only does it have wire crimpers, but it also has a hardwire or stranded wire cutters. So if you have a large wire you need to get through, they also work for hardwire cutters, I know for certain, because I've used them in that fashion. Then you have your really, really robust needle nose pliers with regular pliers, and then replaceable hardwire and wire cutters. It is one of the most capable multi-tools in the entire Leatherman lineup, and my personal EDC, and it comes in at number 2 for me. Now, my all-time favorite Leatherman tool is the Leatherman Wave, the original. Now, a lot of people might, the original for them might be, or the first multi-tool from Leatherman they ever had might be something like the PST or the PST2 or any number of different other multi-tools. But the Leatherman Wave for me was the first one that I actually owned. I bought my first Leatherman Wave in 1999, and one of the things I loved about it is it came with this really great molded leather case for it. It's just a fantastic case that came with the original Leatherman Wave. The original Leatherman Wave really changed the game in the world of multi-tools, especially in the world of plier-based multi-tools, because it's the first that had the outside accessible tools with this incredibly strong frame. Because of the way that they break the Wave in those 4 different breaks, actually it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different breaks per handle, makes it incredibly robust and incredibly strong. It had a great set of needle nose pliers on it. Now, unlike the current generation of the Leatherman Wave, it did not have the replaceable hardwire and wire cutters. It also doesn't have the wire crimpers in the back. But this one just really holds a special place for me because of, it was the first, when I tell you, before I got this, I was using Victorinox knives, and Victorinox makes great knives, and I really like Victorinox knives. But when I first went to a plier-based multi-tool with the Leatherman Wave, it was a game changer for me at work to be able to handle so many different tasks. So many times I needed pliers, and not just the little dinky pliers that you can get on some Swiss Army knives, but rather a full set of robust pliers. And the Leatherman Wave just offered that. Now, at the time, they had other tools out. You had the Super Tool 300 that I could have picked up. The Surge wasn't in existence yet. It wouldn't come for another 7 years. So when I finally did switch over to the Surge, it was almost immediately after it came out, because it's just the more robust version of the Wave. But on the interior, you'll notice that the tools changed up a little bit. The original was a little bit different, had a little different design on their combination tool. Didn't have a bit exchanger, but rather independent bits. So this one, you'll notice that the Phillips driver kind of flares out, which allowed them to tuck a lot of tools in there, but it broadens out to a full set or full dimensional Phillips, as well as your 1/4 inch flat driver. Also has a little lanyard hole here. And then on the opposite side, it has one driver there that's a little tough to get out at times. So it has this is probably where they messed up on this tool, is that they could have, let me get these scissors opened up right first. There we go. So instead of having multiple flat drivers that they do, they have a really small one, then kind of a medium, and then a larger one, and then the extra large one, I guess, here on the other side. If they would have replaced one of these with an awl, that would have made it even better. But another thing with the original Wave was because it didn't have those knife locks that they eventually came out with in Generation 2 and then on to Generation 3, they were able to put a different design set of scissors in here. And though they're a little tough to get out and to use as scissors, you notice these are 3-piece, so you have 1, 2, and 3. The handle, it's just the way it folds over, which made for a really great set of scissors. Not the easiest to get to, but really worked very, very well. And then everything folded up, and because you didn't have any tool locks, it's set very neatly into the bottom, and so when everything folded back down, it just made a really compact tool. It's one of the things that I really liked about the original Leatherman Wave is how slender it is. Now it doesn't have the knife locks for the exterior knife blades that you're going to get in current generations, but it does have a more slender set of knives. So let's bring in the 3rd generation here, which is basically identical to the 2nd generation, with the exception of the replaceable wire and hardwire cutters. But you'll notice that now the Wave Plus kind of flares out a lot more with the knife blades. So it's a little larger or a little wider in profile. As far as the width on them, they're pretty much the same. The tools on here did not have your locking tools. So in 2nd generation, they came out with the locking tools, and then on the 3rd generation. But I never found it really to be an issue because of the slip lock mechanism on here actually locked those tools in pretty nicely. So let me just pop that open. So you can see that it's just a slip lock on the back, but it has a pretty good retention on it. And so I never really had a problem with the slip lock, though I was grateful when they came out with the full locking tools, which just made this tool all the better. So this tool is the one that changed the game for me, and it holds a special place for me because it was my first multi-tool. And the Leatherman Wave, when it hit the market, really changed the game in the multi-tool world to begin with. And there's a reason why the Leatherman Wave and now the Leatherman Wave Plus is the best-selling multi-tool Leatherman has ever produced. It is always going to be my #1 multi-tool because it was my introduction into plier-based multi-tool. This is the original Leatherman Wave, and it holds the #1 spot in my list of my top 5 favorites. My name is Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one.